Well, hello and welcome to Old People This Week. My name is Jeff, or as I'm known in some parts of this town, El Jefe.
Very, very small parts of this town.
And those two ruffians, the one who just spoke there, that's Mike, better known in the rap world as Whiz Bang.
You got it.
And next to him, that's the viceroy of varicose veins, that's Paul.
Yes. One leg removed, one leg next.
We are your hosts. Old People This Week is a podcast for smart, discerning, and super cool baby boomers, 60 years of age and older. If you're younger than 60, please stick around. You'll learn something. Mike, how did your set go at Coachella?
It was terrific. I had my good friend Teddy Swims came out, did a little number with me before he went on. He had a feature show of his own, and that was great.
Did you run into your buddy Justin Bieber? Say hi to him? Yeah,
no.
Him and the wife?
I parked my bus way away from his.
Bieber. The most boring show I've ever seen. He came sauntering out, he sat down, and that was the entire 40 minutes.
Yeah, and every young person we know went absolutely batshit because he was performing. He was, and the crowds apparently were bigger than they've ever been just to see Bieber.
Yeah. To see him, it's a train wreck, though. They're waiting for him to collapse or do something stupid.
Yeah, it's like watching the Indy 500 on the first lap. You just know there's going to be a pileup.
Yeah. Today we're going to talk about influencers. They're the ridiculous people. They're almost all Gen Zers who think that what they do, what they say, what they wear actually matters. And they don't think their crap stinks, which of course it does. They're losers, and we're going to prove it. But before I get to those influencers, I wanted to pick up on another story. You remember we talked about that Mike Vrabel, coach of the New England Patriots.
Bye.
Who flies down to Arizona to theoretically, quote unquote, scout some players, and pictures pop up of him canoodling with an ESPN reporter by the name of Diana Rossini.
Yeah.
So anyway, he gets out there and he basically denies everything, and so does she. And he says it's normal and this happens, and that they're friends, but nothing more.
We work in the same industry, and we bump into each other a lot.
Yeah. So guess what? The nightmare. This is 2026, Mike. I got to tell you, I know I'm not talking about Mike there. I'm talking about Mike Vrabel. Yeah. The video. If you've ever done anything wrong, it's going to come out, and guess what? More video came out.
Yeah.
And this one wasn't him just innocently goofing around. He was kissing this reporter at some Nazi-looking bar, so he's doomed.
Yeah. No, he's gone. He resigned.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. $41 million job. Yeah, I just read. In fact, I just read it like 15 minutes ago.
I thought I read at least within the last hour or so that he's just taken like a leave of absence because he's trying to hang on to that salary, but we'll see.
Oh, maybe, yeah, because I just saw the headline a few minutes ago before we signed on, and it said, Vrabel is gone, bye-bye, $41 million. So maybe he did.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, my God. And all right. Back to these influencers who I have no respect for. Because anybody can call themselves an influencer, and most people are doing it now. Thank God we don't do that.
No.
Senior influencers, maybe.
Wiser.
Why? We are actually influencers. We're wise beyond our years.
I keep trying to influence you to modify your hair to get more to Paul's and my length, but so far you've been reluctant.
Don't compare your whatever that is on top of your head to either Paul or we have hair.
Look at that well-groomed perfection. That's absolute stunning.
Stunning. All right. By the way, if Mike, if Mary found you canoodling at a bar, at our happy hour bar with some waitress, what would she do?
Probably not something we want to discuss on this program. The result would be that I would be in the front line of the soprano singers of the Vienna Boys Choir once she finished with me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's so. Anyway, back to influencers. They just kill me. I'm pissed off about them. And we're just going to rattle off stories just from this past week, by the way, of bad behavior by influencers.
It's just unbelievable.
Unbelievable. First one is, it's a parenting influencer. So actually, this one is not a Gen Zer. She's an older person. Her name is Kelly Hopton Jones, and she's known for her blog, The Hillside Farmhouse. Well, guess what? She's a parenting influencer, and she accidentally ran over her son with her car.
Oops. Real spatial awareness.
Oh, my God. So she goes out and gets in the car. She's in a rush. She's got to bring her daughter to run and get donuts before they go to her dance recital, her daughter's dance recital. Her husband's rather, is in the house with the son, Henry. Of course, Henry wasn't in the house with Dad. He was in the driveway, and Mom runs him over.
God, that's terrible.
Nice influencing.
I think the point of this is that not only did she back up and run over the child, but then she jumped on and shot a video to post it, which is always my thing about when you're caught in the moment of any danger. Is your phone the first thing you should grab for, or is this basically to help and apply care?
Some person who read about it on Instagram or saw that post on Instagram said, running over your own child, then making a post on the same day is not very much, quote unquote, I'm traumatized.
Yeah, exactly. How long did it take to call the ambulance?
Yeah, so she's an influencer, and she couldn't stop influencing even after her son's lying there in the street behind her. And the kid, I'm going to say, his name's Henry. He escaped with just a pelvic fracture and some bruises. So
lucky for Henry,
kid. Yeah,
he's lucky. And his mom kills him, so he's lucky. All right. Now, speaking of influencers running over people, that wasn't the only one. So Kelly Hopton Jones wasn't the only influencer who decided to use their car or vehicle as a weapon. Influencer Claudia Glam, they all got these weird names too. Claudia Glam dies at 32 after another influencer allegedly ran her over with car amid an argument. So her influencer Claudia Glam is dead at 32 after Gabrielle Carrington, known online as Real UK, ran her over with a car in London, England, just a few days ago.
That's one way to thin out the competition, I guess.
How many followers you got? What, more than me? Okay, go over there, stand in the road for a second.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Manslaughter. Yeah,
it was Carrington, who's been charged with attempted murder. What's her name? Glam died, so now Carrington's up for murder.
Good grief.
But she was charged with attempted murder originally, grievously bodily harm with intent, actual bodily harm, dangerous driving, and drunk driving in relation to the incident. So she was impaired, and she goes out after one of her competitors.
Brother.
But those two women and their actions pale in comparison with the all-time Gen Z douchebag influencer, our favorite, the one, the only Clavocular.
What a moron.
Clavocular. He was, what happened to Clavocular? Oh, YouTube terminated his channels for repeated violations.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Great. They finally discovered they had some standards.
YouTube.
Somebody was watching.
Yeah.
YouTube has no standards, as you can see, because we're on it.
We elevate the standard.
Whatever standards they do have, Clavocular violated them, and he's off. They said, we have reviewed your content and found severe and repeated violations of our community guidelines. Because of this, we've removed your channel.
Oh, darn.
Goodbye, Clavocular.
Oh, darn.
And his buddy, he's got a buddy, another influencer, one of these Looks Max guys.
Yeah.
One of these, you can see by the picture here how crazy this guy looks. His name is Androgenic.
Of course.
And they're always trying to get, more and more viewers, and they get more radical in what they tape in order to get people excited.
Yeah.
like we talked about Clavocular last time, he had a Airbnb, had a party. He convinces his girlfriend to beat up on another girl, and just so he could tape it. And then, of course, the girl goes to the cops, and Clavocular got into trouble for that too. But this Androgenic, he's a 25-year-old Australian influencer, a friend of Clavocular, and a fellow looks maxer. He went viral in 2026, this past February, with a clip from a live stream of his in which he was standing outside of a club in Brisbane when a passerby reaches over and snatches off his hat. Well, that's not a big deal, except that under the hat was a wig. Exposing the almost bare head of the looks maxer.
Man.
And the look on his face is priceless when the guy rips the thing off. He turns around and it's like you could see in his eyes, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, oops.
Oops. Oh, man, now I look like a complete fool. Not look maxing when you're bald like Mike.
It's not bald. It's a strategic covering.
Yeah, strategic, like camouflage. Your head came disguised as being bald. All right.
Man.
So what else? Oh, another thing this Androgenic did was he was trying to get video of two women fighting. Mm-hmm. And, obviously he's going to post it and get people who are going to click and like it.
Yeah.
Well, one of them, these two women that are fighting, he steps in and pushes one of the women to the ground, which is bad form, stay out of it. Yeah. Well, some other onlooker took exception to that and ran over and
decked him.
Androgenic to the ground.
Yeah. Good for him.
And he looked like a complete fool. Laying there. This influencer is supposed to be so perfect. He's laying there on the ground like a baby.
Yeah.
And he's screaming, "I took a hit, boys! I took a hit."
Oh yeah. Everybody's clicking off right about then.
This is truly everyone's 15 seconds of fame. I swear. Oh.
The interesting thing is,
Paul.
we have some neighbors who have younger kids, Gen Zs and Gen Xers, and I was talking to them the other day. They're all here for Coachella and Stagecoach, and I noticed that some of them had like ear piercings, tongue studs, tattoos, and the others had nothing, absolutely nothing, no marks on. I just asked them. I said, "What? Well, I don't understand the polarity. You this self-mutilation on one hand, and cleaner than clean on the other hand. How do you make those decisions?" And they were talking about things like the looks maxing and trying to present the best image of themselves. And I thought, hey, geez.
All right, I thought you were going to say you lost your crap and went after him or chased him around, tried to pull the plugs out of his noses and stuff. That's what I expected you to say.
Yeah, well, I've been known to react like that once in a while.
We need hits too. You have to do something ridiculous and get Mary to tape it so that we can run it on the show if you go nuts. Here's another one. So this other influencer, this dude is really in trouble. And it's one thing to do your stupid things here in America where you can, where you're in your own culture and you can try to figure out a way to get out of trouble.
Yeah.
It's another thing to go to another country and do it.
Oops.
And by the way, if you're picking a country to go screw around in, I would not do one that begins with the letter K, as in South Korea.
Yeah.
He enraged everybody in South Korea by kissing a statue honoring women who were forced into wartime sexual slavery.
Brother.
And he videotapes it, and the South Koreans don't find that to be the least bit interesting or funny. And he was jailed for 6 months, beginning on Wednesday, for public nuisance and other charges.
I can't imagine life in a South Korea jail. Would be too pleasant either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Beware when traveling.
Yeah. You know what his handle is? Johnny Somali. Johnny Somali.
Okay.
Well, there's a ticket out of the country.
So Johnny Somali, whose real name is Ramzi Khalid Ismail, he should have stuck with that.
Yeah.
Had been barred from leaving South Korea before this. So he was the only reason to go over there is because they wouldn't let him leave. He had an indictment that went back to 2024. And he was detained immediately after his sentencing on a range of offenses that included distributing sexual deepfakes.
Oh, brother.
So he's a self-proclaimed internet troll, best known for posting provocative videos on platforms including YouTube and Twitch, and several of which have banned him. So anyways, he shouldn't have been out there kissing statues. You don't kiss statues, by the way.
No.
And especially you don't kiss statues of women who are almost sainted in the country in which they were, put statues up about them.
No. It's like that Florida man thing we talked about a while back. Remember the guy who was humping a statue in a park or something?
Yeah, it wasn't a statue in a park. He was like some statue over in Rome. He was
it was Rome, yeah.
Dry humping a statue in Rome, and he got arrested. An idiot.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of those, though. I don't know if you remember, Mike. There was also a guy who was in front of a Florida restaurant, and there was like a dolphin out in front of it, and the guy got on that and started going nuts, doing the wild thing.
Sounds like a weekly event in Florida, probably.
Probably.
Or
That's
nightly
weekly.
event.
Yeah, nightly. Okay. So, at any rate, I'm not going to discuss any more influencers. Now that I've gotten this far into the show, I realize I can't do it anymore. I'll have to start banging my head against the table here.
I really believe that influencers today are the wannabe actors of yesteryear. In our generation, I think you wanted to go and have an acting career. You would go and, have to do the hard work and go to Los Angeles and check yourself into the Oakwood apartments and go to auditions and, do everything, right? And now, you break out your camera, you try and do something stupid, and you just post it and you take a shot in the dark of whether or not you're an influencer or not. And that's...
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
really
the legitimate influencers, the ones that make the money, like the Kylie Jenners, are doing fashion tips and makeup tips and travel tips.
Yeah.
And they go on this thing where, they believe that other people want to know what their life is like, so they'll sign up.
No, that they're worthy of following. That there's somebody, and I don't know if they really are.
Oh my God!
No, that's a good point, though, Paul, because the 2 or 3 of the now nationally popular, internationally for that popular country singers that were on Stagecoach this weekend all got picked up after their debuts on TikTok. They just went on and started singing songs and that they wrote and things like that, and now they're huge stars.
Yeah.
So
well, if you were back in the '80s and you wanted to be a singer on stage, you might you're going to perform at small clubs until you got a following, and then that would lead to a record signing. And they can cut through all that. They can reach millions of people at one time.
Oh yeah.
With the hit song. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it, Mike. I don't know. Next time you see an influencer in your neighborhood, just go after them. Put them in your trunk and
I'm always
bring them out to the city limits.
packing, so they don't come around often.
Packing. Oh my God. What? You guys pack them in that jowls of yours.
Careful now. Careful. Starting to talk about perfection again.
Okay. Mike, you remember a story about a year ago. I think this is before Paul was with us. We did a story about people who had gone to their insurance company and made claims, that their car had been attacked by a bear and scratched up.
The bear suit guys.
The bear suit guy. Even then, this was at least a year or so ago that we talked about this.
Yeah.
There was all these scratch marks on this guy's Mercedes, and they said it was they sent a video to the insurance company, and unless you were completely drunk or high or stupid, you saw that this thing wasn't a real bear.
No, it's like the guy's shirt tail was hanging out of the bear costume.
No, I think it was out of the bottom of it where the feet were. You'd see the pair of pants sticking up.
Yeah, or Nikes or something.
Stupid. Anyways, so cut to a year later. We haven't even heard about this story. 3 people in California were sentenced for insurance fraud in a bizarre scam that involved someone dressing as a bear in a bear costume damaging luxury cars. You can see the picture here. It's incredible.
I love it.
Nobody would fall for this. Even Mike, when he's so drunk at happy hour, wouldn't fall for this.
No, I've worn that bear suit to a bar a couple of times, but
You wore that last Halloween.
yeah, great applause.
Of the three of us, who actually has worn a bear suit?
You, obviously, yeah. A bear suit. I don't do suits. I don't do costumes. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I met Michael Jackson wearing a bear suit.
I don't even want to know how that turned out.
I don't want to know any more about that than you just said.
It's a great Florida story.
The California Insurance Department said the three people used a person in a bear suit to stage fake attacks inside a Rolls Royce and two Mercedes back in 2024 and submitted fraudulent claims for $142,000.
Jesus.
The California Insurance Department called it Operation Bear Claw. That's what they call their horse.
How imaginative.
Not only do they have to go to jail, they have to pay $50,000 in restitution. So, all right. Now this next story, I got to tell you, to take a minute to get through it. So hopefully it won't be too boring. I won't have to cut it out of the show. But this guy, I've never been in marketing myself, but I've worked a lot with people who are in marketing. And I can tell you, people who are in marketing are generally full of El Crapo themselves.
Yeah.
Bottom line with marketing is that you want to sell something, and if you want to sell something, you A, have to believe in it yourself. Mm-hmm. You can't phony it.
No.
And B, you have to make people believe it's the greatest thing ever. Okay. Cut to McDonald's. McDonald's is trying to sell you on this thing called the Arch. And it's a new sandwich.
Yeah.
Now, evidently, it's not been new. It's only new in America. It's been around the world sometimes, but they have this thing. Well, I went out to check it out, and I didn't have one because basically it's like a Big Mac, but it's got raw onions on it. I don't like raw onions. So it's got raw onions on it, cooked onions on it, cheese, its own special sauce, and then and then that's what it is. Well, in order to sell it here in America, they hand over, the idea is we're going to get the CEO, the man, the legend himself, the guy who's the CEO of one of the largest companies in the world, and he's going to sit down, he's going to have one of these, and he's going to talk to on his Instagram post how great it is.
Yeah.
Well, here's part of that.
Chris K here with, you've heard about it, here it is, the Big Arch. First of all, let's try to get this thing, I don't even know how to attack it. Got so much to it. Oh, there's also some crispy onions on here as well. I see those kind of coming out. All right, the moment of truth. That is so good. That's a big bite for a big arch.
Did you see this dude?
It's crazy.
He takes a little nibble of it at the beginning there. He doesn't finish it. That ain't going to get it done, Mr. CEO. If you got to try to sell a new sandwich to Americans and you want people to go and buy it, you have to sit there and take a freaking bite
Bite
and
out of it.
mean it like you love it. You got to get that juice all over your face. You got to shove it in your mouth.
Wipe it on your shirt sleeve and yeah.
There you go.
Well, the side story is, and you probably saw this, but the CEO of Burger King, when that ad broke, they came out with another ad on the Big King or their counter, and it showed the guy, and he had it in both hands and devoured it.
Not bad, right?
Only one thing missing, a napkin.
So, and the McDonald's dude, he tries to play it off as to why it didn't come off so strong. He said, he pushed back to a childhood lesson. He said, I think I blame it all on my mom because she told me don't talk with your mouth full.
There you go. When all else fails, throw mom under the bus.
This is like, now imagine that same excuse if Mike Vrabel was using it.
Yeah. My mom told me to always be nice to the little girls I went to school with. Yeah.
Don't go blaming your mom, you fool. Just next time you get an opportunity to sell one of your sandwiches, go nuts on it, right? Like the guy from the other, like Mike's talking about.
That is so lame. It's just.
Okay. Now, speaking of marketing, if you guys know, when I was at E, I was the producer, the creator, and the basically the genius behind the show called True Hollywood Story. But anyway, this sign right here was one of our graphics, and they made it up into a sign for me to put up above my desk. And it says, child stars, dead stars, drunk stars. Because that's how we marketed it. It was, you're going to see one of those kinds of stars.
Yeah.
And almost all of the people in those first early days of that show featured were child stars.
Yeah.
I bet.
Because there was, up until that point, which was in the early 2000s, there was tons of stories. People like we did on Gary Coleman, remember him, that little black guy?
Yeah.
Danny Bonaducci, and then the one was that we got great ratings on was Dana Plato. Remember her? She was on one of those shows, and she was arrested for robbing a liquor store, and then she died of a drug overdose. Anyways, there's a guy by the name of Brandon Bug Hall. And he was the guy who played Alfalfa in the 1994 comedy, The Little Rascals. Yeah. So, of course, this little cute kid with the thing on top of his head.
Yeah.
And Mike, you couldn't do that. I could make a little one of those alfalfas on my hair.
Well, if I just let this grow for a couple of weeks, it'd be way past your length. But I choose to keep this sartorial splendor in check.
There's no growing it. You go back and buy it, another resawed it, like go buy the fake, put that on there. Anyways, Bug Hall freaks out, of course, as he gets older. He was arrested for inhaling the contents of an air duster can, which are those things that are designed to clean computer keyboards.
Oh, Jesus.
So he turns it on himself. He snorts all of it. He's found in a hotel room. A motel room probably with all this stuff, and he's charged with misdemeanor possession for use to inhale or ingest a volatile chemical and held and released on bail. So he really flips out. Then he says, that's it. He goes, I'm leaving Hollywood. And he now lives off the grid in Arkansas as a quote unquote radical Catholic extremist who took a quote unquote vow of poverty with his wife and 5 children.
Yeah, a completely normal reaction.
I wonder how the wife and 5 children like this vow of poverty back there in backwoods Arkansas.
Well,
Really?
he chose the right location. By the way,
you can't get more back.
Did you ever think Alfalfa looked like Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine?
Alfred E. Newman, right, from Mad Magazine.
Yeah, they look just
What,
alike.
me worry?
Yeah.
That was his saying. What, me worry? Alfred Newman. Yeah, he did. He was a crazy looking kid.
Yeah.
That another one was that kid with the original Alfalfa, Carl something. He ended up getting screwed up too as he got older.
Yeah.
And speaking of child stars, even though we don't know her as a child star, but she was once a child star. It was the only, the all-time great crazy adult is Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so she was arrested just last month for drunk driving up in Ventura, California. And of course, they had an intervention, and she said, "Okay, I'm going to go to rehab." But she couldn't resist before going into rehab, posting this video.
Oh, girl,
Man.
Yeah. So she ends up doing a dance montage that ended with her sticking her tongue near a cigarette lighter.
brother.
Not going to have been the
Britney. Okay. All right, so we mentioned Coachella earlier, where Mike, better known as the rapper Whiz Bang, performed with his buddy Bieber and all those other people. So this guy's, according to TikTok story I saw, the normal Coachella, stuff, typical TikTok stuff, except something seemed to be missing this year, which were the long lines at the food trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So and this one TikToker went and said to people, why aren't there lines at the TikTok, at the Coachella food stands? This guy says, well, it's not because of the money, though their stuff is crazy expensive.
Yeah,
like it's
$100
for a Coke kind of thing. But it's because everyone's on Ozempic. That's what he said.
Well, it could be. Could be true.
What else would explain it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Everyone's on Ozempic. We know that. We've already covered this over the years.
Yeah.
Clearly, Mike, Paul, and I are not on Ozempic. We don't have Ozempic faces. We got nice, big, fat faces, especially Paul. Not Paul.
The praise never ends, Paul.
Non-stop.
40 years and counting. Yeah.
Yeah. 40 years and
He
counting.
told me at one time he really liked you, but boy, the evidence is thin.
We did. We had a good time 40 years ago. He was my boss. Paul was my boss.
We had a lot of good times, Jeff.
We did. I'm going to take an aside. I'll probably end up taking this out of the show. But one of the things we did in that office, and I've told this story before, is we had those rubber band guns.
Oh, God.
And they're wooden guns. You put a rubber band on them, and you shoot a rubber band across the room. And of course, one person got one. Then every guy in the place had a rubber band gun. And then the sport became shooting the women.
I was going to say, you tell this all the time, and my one vision is always a visual of little Teresa.
Yeah,
little Teresa just yelling at you.
She walked across, made the mistake of walking through this bullpen area by herself, unescorted, and about 6 guys shot the rubber band guns at her and hit her all over the place, and she went nuts on us. Anyway, where am I? Okay. So here's this next story. California woman successfully sued Carnival Corporation. Now, the minute I say Carnival Corporation, that means it has to do with these
Cruise.
with these ocean liners things, and cruise ships. She sued him for $300,000 in damages over injuries she sustained while inebriated after she was overserved alcohol on a vacation cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So her name is Diana Sanders. She's a neonatal intensive care nurse from Vacaville, California.
Yeah.
Very famous prison up there in Vacaville, by the way.
Vacaville.
That's where Charles Manson was held, in Vacaville.
Yeah.
Anyways, this neonatal nurse goes on a cruise, and guess what? She served 14 shots of tequila in an 8-hour and 39-minute span between 2:58 p.m. and 11:37 p.m. So afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight, she served 14 shots of tequila, and they don't say whatever else she was drinking besides that shots.
Yeah, because a shot of tequila, I don't know, over 8 hours, it's like 1 an hour. Less than 1 hour.
It's over 1 an hour. It's 14 shots in 12 hours. And then she... in 9 hours.
Yeah,
as a passenger on something called the Carnival Radiance ship. Okay, and of course, while she's drunk, she has a severe fall down a flight of stairs that results in severe injuries, including but not limited to concussion, headaches, a possible traumatic brain injury, back injuries, tailbone injuries, bruising, and other injuries. This is another reason of that long list of reasons I have that to take up more paper than I can tell you.
Never get on a
cruise ship.
Never.
No. I've said this before. First of all, if you go on there, if you don't have a great marriage, your wife is going to figure out a way to kill you on the thing.
Yeah.
You're going to be walking, and next thing you know, you're going to be in the ocean swimming.
There's got to be a headline once a week of somebody going overboard on a cruise. I kid you not. There's one this week of like a Norwegian cruise somewhere, and someone's overboard, and they just kept on cruising. They're like, couldn't find them.
Yeah.
Couldn't find them. They don't. It's the best way to get rid of your husband, if there is, or your wife, I guess. Just when they're a little tipsy, you just walk. Hey, let's take a walk outside. Hey, look over the edge here. Goodbye. So that's one of the main reasons I'm not going on. The other one is they serve you too much alcohol. She said that the lawyer for this poor woman said Carnival, quote, deliberately designs its vessels to ensure that there are alcohol serving stations in every nook and cranny of the ship in an effort to make as much money as possible.
Gee, what a surprise.
So now, while Mike and I are partial to the liquor, even that's too much. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I love good tequila, but Jesus, for two shots an hour.
We're not in our 20s anymore. We had a hell of a lot more tolerance when you were 20-something as opposed to being the ages we are now.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You've never seen Mike at work at the happy hour. There's bartenders there who start hiding liquor when he comes in.
Yeah.
They want to cap somebody's leaves. All right. This is all right. We're here. We're at the part of the show.
Yeah. Speaking of
Part,
death and destruction.
yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, from western Wyoming and all points east, the one, the only Mike with Vaya Con Dios.
The annals of the dear departed. So, with respect to your usual display of intolerance and lack of sympathy for those who have left the earth, I'll keep this list short this week. First,
but Paul, that's shorthand for I didn't do any research, and I don't. Probably on average 10,000 people die a week, and they're going to be celebrities. All you have to do is list them off the internet. You don't have to do that lame excuse.
I'm here to back you up, Mike. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, you lived with
Go
it.
ahead.
You lived with it for years, so you bear those scars. First, and probably most notable, Michael Tilson Thomas, the conductor, composer, pianist.
Oh, yeah.
82 years old.
Yeah, Paul, you know who Michael. Fake when that was.
See, Paul, it's a classic example.
Michael Tilson Thomas. No one knows who that is.
Yeah, everyone knows who that is.
He's the conductor, wasn't he?
Yeah, if you leave your home occasionally, unbolt the front gate and leave your home occasionally.
What did he conduct?
Do some research, you'll find out. He's famous. He's world famous. And then here's someone who you'll remember because you probably were hanging out with him at one point, Alan Osmond of the Osmond Brothers.
Oh, yeah. Certainly, the Osmond Brothers.
76 years old.
Yeah, hard to believe.
He was the oldest.
I know who Donnie is. I know who Marie is. The rest of them were losers anyways.
No, I think he was like the original who wrote those songs in the very beginning. I think he wrote most of the songs.
Yeah, he was the oldest of the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
How old was he?
76 when he passed away.
Oh, wow. That means Donnie's kind of getting up there, too. Then.
Oh, yeah. And Maria.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because I know you're addicted to the television show Storage Wars, Daryl Sheets, the host of Storage Wars, died unexpectedly at the age of 67.
I've never seen it, but I have to admit it's a good format for a TV show. You pay whatever amount of money, you get yourself a storage unit that somebody's abandoned. And we did a whole piece one time on a guy who bought one on, it wasn't for part of a show he did in real life. He bought an unused or unpaid for storage fit thing, and he opened it up, and inside was about 20 years of the Jackson family memorabilia.
Oh my God.
It was the Jackson family lawyers had forgot to pay for the storage unit. It went into arrears. Oh. They sold it. Nobody knew what was in there. And this guy got a ton of Jackson stuff. And then the Jackson family, swooped in there to get it back and paid him all sorts of money to get it back.
Wow.
All this stuff.
Okay. And then Kiki Shepard died at 74. She was the co-host for 15 years of the show Showtime at the Apollo.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I remember that show.
Yeah.
I don't remember Kiki, but I remember the show.
Yeah.
I've been to the Apollo. Yeah.
I've been to the Apollo, too.
And then this one from your Hollywood realm, Patrick Muldoon, the actor. 57 years old, starred in Melrose Place and Days of Our Lives. 57.
57. Well, that's young.
Yeah.
Too bad for him.
Yeah. Too young.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Mike. All right. Let's move on. All right. On to some more interesting news other than that. A Maine man, meaning a man from Maine, not the Maine man. I'm the Maine man. But the man from Maine, the state of Maine, is behind bars without bail this week after police say a decade of neighborly cooperation ended in a horrific scene involving a baseball bat, a chainsaw, and a fire pit.
Oh, no. There's a combination you can conjure up all sorts of stories about.
This story killed me. So this dude's name is Tanner Dostie, Dostie. He's 45 years old. And So police get a call one day and they said, come over to this Alcoholic Anonymous meeting because there's a guy here. He's acting kind of weird. So the cops show up and witness goes, they point to this Tanner Dostie and they go, he's been acting here. He's at this Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. He's been acting weird and he's acting inappropriately towards the women here. And he appears to be under the influence, which, by the way, if you're under the influence, skip out. Don't go to the
don't go to the
Alcoholics
AA meeting.
Anonymous. So then the police says things took a strange turn, stranger than that. Dostie reportedly crawled across the parking lot on his stomach, refused to drop a knife tucked into his belt, and he had to be hit with a stun gun 13 times
Oh my God.
before he was finally detained.
13 times. Oh,
That's how hammered he was.
Jeez, how can your heart sustain that?
So they get the dude into custody, Tanner Dostie. And during his interview, after he's sobered up and come down from being tasered 13 times, he confesses allegedly to killing his neighbor, whose name is something Blazens, Blasens, his neighbor of 10 years. And he killed him because he said, quote unquote, to free his wife. Now, I'm not sure if it was to free his wife or to free Blazens' wife.
Yeah.
And he tells the police officer in this interview that they after they find him weird at the Alcoholics Anonymous, that he had chopped up the guy into little bits, and he directed him to a fire pit outside of his house.
Didn't he say he cut him up with a chainsaw?
Yeah. So the cops get a search warrant. They fly over to Dostie's house, and they go, and they find human remains in the fire pit, blood both inside and outside the residence.
Yeah.
And evidently, they were working together on a car. Something happens. Dostie gets pissed off, and he beats Blessings with a bat, stabbing him. Beats him with a bat and stabs him. And then he uses a chainsaw on him to dismember the body and burn the evidence.
Oh, my God.
Thorough.
Good
This
Lord.
guy, all right. Anyways. And then this grand story one of you two sent me. Police in Louisiana are investigating after a Chinese restaurant allegedly put roadkill in a freezer.
Nice.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Already too much information.
This is in Pineville, Louisiana. So remind me, I'm putting this on the long list of places, including about anywhere in Florida, and then wherever in Arkansas that child star is, and now this place in Pineville, Louisiana, said they found an dead something or other, dead deer.
Deer.
And they found it inside the same. The freezer where they're keeping all their regular fresh food.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they said it was okay because it was all cleaned and dressed and it was totally safe.
And here's how they do it. Here's how they set it. They don't put an announcement on. They don't get it on TV to do it. They don't put it on social media. They put a little note on the front door of their restaurant.
Yeah.
It said,
We
apologize. The item was never intended to be served to customers. Yeah, right. It was fully cleaned and sanitized. We're cooperating with health authorities and have corrected our procedures to ensure this does not happen again.
See, they need an influencer. Yeah. That's where it'd help there.
Right
if they had an influencer, it would be known.
Yeah. I don't want to read that note on the door as I'm walking in to have my
I don't even like seeing it when they don't have an A rating, when they have a B. You don't want to go into it, let alone someone like this.
This reminds me of one quick story about working at LAX, and when people would fly in early from Asia in the Far East, they would come in and have these heavy bags, and they'd always have to pay excess charges for checking them. But when you open them up, there would be all this fish that was packed in bags, and it's already traveled probably in excess of just 16 hours at least, and it's still got to make its way to some Midwest destination. And I'd always like, oh my God, I'm never going to a Chinese restaurant in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas.
It wasn't for their personal consumption. You think it was for retail.
Oh no, I always envisioned that they had some little mall, strip mall set up, and yeah, it was bad.
This sushi tastes funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Okay, and finally, it's a substitute teacher in Lake County, Florida. Had to be restrained and escorted out of a Lake Mineola high school classroom this past Monday after acting erratically. So a substitute teacher all of a sudden is going nuts. They received an alert around 10:20 a.m. and arrived at the classroom to find the substitute teacher, her name is Angela Faith Jordan, yelling incoherently and saying that they should put her in prison for life. The sub was reportedly not following the lesson plan for the day. Instead, she was, according to investigators, slamming her hands on the desk and making inappropriate comments to the studio. On top of that, if that's not all, she was supposed to, while she was tasked with teaching the kids, she was twerking in the classroom and referring to herself as $1 million prostitute.
Damn. Where was I when those classes were going on?
Yes,
Yeah, I never had a substitute teacher be doing any twerking in front of me. That's for sure.
not the way
I
it
had
was.
nuns, by the way.
They should.
It wasn't my Episcopalian grade school. I'll tell you that.
Maybe they should investigate her and see if her neighbors are missing. It might be in her fire pit.
If you were Episcopalian, then you had normal people, and if you were like Mike, you were in a one-room schoolhouse back in the woods somewhere. You didn't have substitute teachers. No. We had nuns, and they would come in there and they would crack you over the head with a ruler, or worse, if you even moved, you sneezed. All right, that's it for today's show. Remember to subscribe. We're almost at 6,000. Now we're at 5,800. It's up another. Yeah, we're just rising up the charts here. Eventually, we have enough people to make some money off YouTube. Maybe we'll bring Clavocular and he can join our YouTube site.
No, that won't happen.
You can send us an email, please do, with your comments to oldpeoplethisweek@gmail.com. We always love to get your comments.
Yeah.
We will talk about, sometimes we'll talk about it on air and we'll get back to you. We always reply to them. We have a phone number. It is, what is the phone number? What again? 800-310-1830. And Brittany Spears, please call us. We're on call, ready and waiting for your call that will help you through this rehab.
We have a retreat for you.
Yeah, you can come hang out with us. It'll be the best 2 weeks of your life. You'll go back acting the straight and narrow.
You'll never drink again.
And if you're watching this show right now, it was part of a quote-unquote live presentation debut tonight.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we'll see you soon. And that's it. Oh, except for Reese, of course, with the old people quote of the week. Thank you, Reese. And for the rest of you, adios.
Adios. Thanks, everyone.
Here's the old people this week quote of the week. Here's all you have to know about men and women. Women are crazy. Men are stupid. And the main reason women are crazy is because men are stupid. George Carlin.